Hello and welcome back to another Minecraft tutorial. I'm mostly Darklink and today we have something very simple and very easy for you guys, which is an Armadillo XP farm. Now Armadillo XP farms are relatively new in comparison to most other things in Minecraft. They weren't possible until the 1.21 update back in June 2024. So it hasn't even been a year yet since these kind of farms were possible, but they have quickly become the best and easiest XP farm that you can make. So I'll go ahead and explain how the farm behind me works, as well as show you guys how to make it. Now, as always, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. It helps me grow my channel and allows me to keep making more tutorials like this for you guys. Alright, so to get started, we'll go over how this farm here works. So pretty much, first, we need some armadillos. Alright, so now we have a bunch of armadillos. I'm going to change my mob sounds because that is really loud, so give me a second. There we go. I just turned off the armadillo sounds, as well as we got a zombie over there. Turned him off too. Let's get sick of listening to him. So anyways, so the way that this farm works is we have the maximum number of armadillos in this little 1x1 cell here. And if you did not know, the maximum number of entities you can have in a 1x1 is 24. So we have 24 armadillos. And we got a zombie over here chilling in a boat. And the reason for that is when a hostile mob is near an armadillo, armadillos will go into their shell and they'll pretty much be this little cube here. And when they're a cube like that, we can have them sitting on top of something like this campfire and they won't take any damage. So if you notice, they're all red because they're constantly taking damage, but none of them are dying. And that is what we want, because we can then use that behavior to then throw a potion of infestation at them. And every single time they take damage, they're going to have a 10% chance to spawn a silverfish. And those silverfish are going to go into this water stream here, and that is flowing over to this corner. And then we can come over here to this armor stand, and if we have a sword with sweeping edge on it, we can smack this armor stand. It'll hit the silverfish that are gathering up in this corner, and we will just get a ton of XP funneling into us. So give me a second and I'll show you how that works. So we take our infestation potion, throw it. You can now see we got a ton of silverfish just spawning. If I didn't have my entity sounds off, this would be extremely loud. In fact, this is everything just at 20%. So if you're using this farm, I highly suggest changing your sound settings. Okay, so we got it all off now. So if we come down here, first we're going to want to put ourselves in survival. So if you try to test this farm in creative, smacking the armor stand, you're just going to break the armor stand. So we got our sword with sweeping edge, and when we smack that armor stand, just once, look at all that XP flowing into us. So if we just keep sitting here, smacking away, we'll just keep constantly getting XP. Now, look at all that XP. I'm going to give it a second, let it catch up here. Now, a few things to note. If you get too far away from this farm, the armadillos will die. So that's why we got this little trap door here for us to be able to come over here, right click, and shut it off. As well as we can come over here, the flint and steel, and turn it back on. So have a shovel and flint and steel handy to turn this on and off. Just be careful when you shut this off. When you open it, if this is full of silverfish, they can and will explode out. So make sure you have this in a nice contained area that has no stone or deep slate or anything made from those two anywhere around. Because if you do, the silverfish will hop in there and infest it, and you're going to have not a good time. Now, another thing to note, if you want, you can come underneath the campfire, place a hopper going into a chest, and it'll make a small little impromptu scoot farm as well. Just make sure if you do a double chest like this, that you got a slab above the chest so you can open it. Otherwise, you're going to have a useless chest. A couple more things to note about this farm before we get into the tutorial. If you have fire aspect on your sword when you're smacking this armor stand, you will break the armor stand. So do not have fire aspect on. You can put a bucket of water in here, and that'll mostly help not break it if you have fire aspect on, but you will have to go very slow, and it's just better to just have a sword that does not have fire aspect on it. Also, if you're not standing in here when smacking the armor stand, you may have a bunch of XP particles gathering here in this corner. So if you want to make sure you're gathering everything, stand inside the hole when you're smacking the armor stand. And final note, the zombie here doesn't necessarily have to be in a hole. It's just easier. It also doesn't necessarily need to be a zombie, it just needs to be a hostile mob. Zombies are the easiest to work with and capture. So if you want your zombie to be in a little hut nearby, you can put him in a hut nearby. He just needs to be close enough to the armadillos that they jump into their shells and create the little ball. Last thing before I forget, armadillos can be bred with spider eyes. So if you go get some armadillos from a savanna biome, you can breed them up with spider eyes to get them into the farm, but they cannot be bred when they are inside their shells like this. They can only be bred when they are outside of their shells, so you are not able to breed them as they are now. If you bring them into the hole, you cannot have your hostile mob near the farm, at least not yet. So make sure your breeding operation for the armadillos is either away from your farm, or you don't get your zombie until after you get the armadillos up. And then you can also, if you want to increase the efficiency and speed, you can make 3 more of these. So there's 4 all around this armor stand in each corner. You of course will just need your zombie not where it is, because this would be one of the cells, and it drastically increases the amount of experience you get. You already get an insane amount of experience just from this one, so if you want just insane experience results, take this and make this a quad all the way around your armor stand. Alright, so enough about the farm. Let's go over what you need to build this. So to build this farm is really simple. There's no redstone. It's just very simple building. So we need 1 campfire, 8 building blocks. We got glass, so that way we can look in on the farm, a water bucket, armor stand, and a trap door. As well as we got a boat and a zombie. Again, doesn't necessarily have to be a zombie, just has to be a hostile mob. Zombies are just the easiest to work with. And the boat is to make sure he stays still, as well as does not despawn. Really want to, you can get a name tag, name him. You can also give him an item to make sure he doesn't despawn, but get him in the boat, much easier. And then you're going to need 24 armadillos. Of course, a splash potion of infestation to get going. And then, as mentioned, a sweeping sword, a sweeping edge sword. Do not get one with fire aspect like we got here. You will break your armor stand. Briefly mentioned it before, but any building blocks cannot be made out of stone, cobblestone, stone bricks, as well as deep slate bricks, anything like that. Anything that can be infested by a silverfish, we cannot have anywhere around or in our farm. All right, now to get started, we're going to want to carve out a 3 by 3 by 2 area. So 3 long, 3 wide, 2 deep. And then we're going to place a campfire in the center. If when you're digging this out in your world and there's stone, you're going to want to replace that stone with anything that's not stone, cobblestone, deep slate, etc., like we said before. Otherwise, our silverfish are going to infest that block and we're going to have a not good time. Now, figure out where you're going to want your armor stand. So if you're going to be doing the quad, you're going to want to make sure your armor stand is in the corner of all of them. So if we were doing 4, so like, say like this, we're going to want our armor stand here. And then we can also do another set all around. Just as I said, make sure armor stand is here. If you're doing it like this, you're also going to want to make sure you got some way to get out, because this is going to need to come up. So be careful there. But for now, we're just going to focus on this one. All right, so we have our 3 by 3 by 2 with campfire in, and I already did it. But as I showed, diagonal from here, we're going to dig down 2, and then 1, and we're going to place our armor stand here. This is just to make it so we can get in and out of our hole easy. And now, since our armor stand is over here in the corner, we want the water to flow to this corner. So over here in the opposite end, we're going to place our water bucket like so. So everything is now being pushed over here. And then we can go ahead and all around the campfire, not on top, around the campfire, we can place our blocks. We got glass so we can look in, and we're good to go there. Now we're going to want some way to be able to turn this farm on and off. So go ahead, dig down like so, put a trapdoor. This will easily allow us to shut the farm off and on. Now that we got that, we are going to want to get our zombie. If you are getting the armadillos and you want to breed them, turn this campfire off. Because if you try to just put the armadillos in here without the hostile mob, the campfire will just cook the armadillos and kill them, like so. But if you come here, shut this campfire off, you could use this little pit to breed. So next, we're going to want to get our zombie. If you're doing the quad one, you're going to want to have the hostile mob somewhere where they're not taking up any of our quad spaces. So we're just going to go ahead and put them on the back of the farm over here. So if you just dig a little 3x2x2 hole like so, put a boat in there, and we're going to pretend it's night so our zombie doesn't cook when we put him in there. Get the zombie in, we'll go in the boat, and then you can go ahead. You got slabs. Slab the top like so, and he'll just be sitting in there chilling. All right, now that we got our zombie over there chilling, if we get an armadillo in there, they'll curl up into their shell. So we can go ahead, get the 24 armadillos in there. They'll get all nice and curled up like so. And then if we throw a splash potion at them, the farm will start going. And that's it. Now we can sit here and just farm up experience all day. And it doesn't matter where you're standing, as long as you're hitting the armor stand. That's it. A nice, short, simple, very efficient experience farm. Again, if you like this video, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. If there's a tutorial you'd like to see me do in the future, let me know in the comments down below. Until next time, see ya.